Okay, welcome to our Kuntres Hispaalus class. And we are summarizing paragraph 9, which we learned last week. And there we have been carrying quite a long discussion, the difference between the hispaalus of a natural soul and the hispaalus of the godly soul. And last week he gave us like a little understanding of how is this difference actualizing, okay, in actualizes in reality. And we spoke about that there are two types of people. It will help us to understand when we understand how two types of people learn. One type of a person, he is, when he hears from his Rebbe all kinds of different explanations, he's able to keep in his mind, in a way, all the explanations, and only after he hears all the explanations, he's able to kind of analyze it and synthesize it, and then get the tamtzit, get the point. And then from that point, he feels the excitement, where the other person is exactly the opposite, right? He senses the inner essence right away of the concept when he first expressed briefly. And from there, he's able even to draw and develop new perspectives, right? And perceive a deeper inner point. And because he is attaching not only to information, but he is attaching to the Elokus in the concept. And because he's able to do that, he's able to really draw these insights. And why is it? Why are they so different? Because one is rooted in Bina and the other one is rooted in Chochmah. So why is that such a difference? Because the Bina comes in the way of enclothement. So the person whose a whole spiritual diagram is built on his Shorsh and the Shama of Bina, he also follows the same idea, right? Meaning in his processing, he first needs to unclothe and then see the essence. Whereas in Chochmah, it's not b'derech hislapshus, right? And because it's not b'derech hislapshus, he's able to see the essence right away, because the essence for him is also revealed without the hislapshus. So that was what we learned up until now. It's a little short summary, and we're going to go straight into the text because today I mamish have till 1. Yeah, maybe a little bit over 1. So we're going to go into the paragraph 10, and we'll try to make sense out of it. Hi, Gabriela. So nice to see you. Hey. Here we go. I'm sharing my screen. Okay, so here we go. Paragraph 10. Baruch Hashem. So we finished, paragraph 9, and we are here by paragraph 10. Right? But at first glance, it's a little bit difficult to understand what we just said. Isn't it that every Jew possesses the aspect of koach, which is in divine soul? So what are we saying? What shorish and the neshama it has? Bina, chochma, this, that. It's like, hello, aren't we all have koach and the neshama of koach that in inside of every single Jew? She'eina melubeshes. I don't know what ba'az means. La'olam has a klal. Shemitzad ze yochel mesiras nefesh al kiddush Hashem k'mavar b'lukatei amar. Right, that possesses the koach within the divine soul, which is not enclosed in, use this over here, opposing forces, maybe of chesed, the gvura, right? And because of this, is able to give over his life for the Kiddush Hashem. So we know that every Jew, it says in Tanya, that every Jew possesses this. So why are you saying that one is coming from this, the other one is coming from that? Right? It needs clarification. Right? So we know that this matter of this truth, right, of the essence of koach cannot come into revelation at all by itself, right? And we are talking about the essence of the neshama, right? The essence of the neshama doesn't come into revelation by itself. Why is it? Mitzad otzma, shehi muvdelet legamre migeder hisgalus. Okay, this is because it's of otzem is the awesomeness in a way. I don't know if it's really like an accurate translation of the otzem. Okay, since it is completely removed from the category of revelations. Okay, and it cannot be removed. It cannot be revealed. Okay, afilu benaran benefesh ruach neshama, even nefesh neshama, right? As they are, meaning the chochmah of the neshama, is unable to be revealed. Okay, even in the level of the nefesh ruach and neshama, as they exist in the source and root. Okay, and Moshe Cain, right, and even more certainly, but nefesh ruach and neshama melubashim b'guf. And how much more so in the nefesh ruach and neshama, the way they're enclosed in the body. Because remember, even in the soul, okay, there are two aspects. One aspect of nefesh ruach and neshama before it goes into the body, and the other aspect after it goes into the body. So we cannot say that this level can certainly be revealed. It cannot be revealed. Now, why it cannot be revealed? Not because that these levels have any stira, that they could conceal godliness from us. On the contrary, nothing can be an obstacle to our revelation of Hashem. Okay, nothing, absolutely nothing. So what are we talking about? We are talking about having a vessel where these revelations can really reveal themselves. Okay, but in essence, nothing can really hold us from these revelations. But from practicality, there is absolutely no vessel that could actually have these levels revealed. Okay. So what's the story? Obviously, we're still having that issue of being in nefesh, but he says even on the level of the neshama, they cannot be revealed. Okay, kmo shehi b'kal v'chomer beino shel kal v'chomer b'nefesh hativis, and even more so in the nefesh hativis. Okay, in the animal soul, atzma. Lo tochel lizgalois. Okay, it cannot be revealed. But only in the ways through specifically on opposition. Okay, so this level, like this button for Etzem on the Shama to be revealed, is through when there's an opposition, right? We see, this Galach is coming over, wants to convert, and we say no. Okay, even if we are not really like, fully with it, right? Fully believers, right? We don't have to have a certain understanding or learnedness in order for nefesh etzem and neshama to be revealed. Okay, now, when a person is pressured to abandon the Torah, then it comes into the revelation. Okay. Now, in this revelation, it cannot be enclosed within any comprehension or emotional arousal. It's higher than that. Because That's when the Atzma Neshama, there is no like wow about it. It's just the fact, it's just the state of I am, right? It's the essence of the neshama is I am. But that arousal of the soul that comes through comprehension, that is an extension of koach. It's not the essence of the koach itself. Right? And that part is being enclosed in the eye of the intellect within the heart. Okay, so when we are talking about that first, the second guy, okay, that coming from the level of Chochmah, which is, the level of Chochmah, that he's able to perceive right away the essence, we are not talking about that Chochmah that everybody has. We're talking about that Chochmah, the way it's already being enclosed as an extension. It becomes part of his intellect, part of his makeup in a way, right? And that is more the eye of the intellect within the heart, right? It's more when a person, it's a little bit before hasaga, a little bit before the actual comprehension. Instead, ishtalshus, this is more of the eyes of the intellect. It's the mind's eyes in a way. Right? And there are those to whom this eye of the intellect shines openly. So they're able right away to perceive visually the concept. Okay? And right away see the godliness in it. So this is what we're talking about. We're not talking about that koach ma, this etzem and neshama that's possessed by everybody. Okay, that we're not talking about. That we know that everybody has it. But not everybody has the eye of the intellect openly shines by them. That not everybody has. And but by those who do have, therefore they see within all the letters that are spoken, inyan Eloki, they right away see the godly matter. Elokus, they right away see the divine aspect within the letters themselves. On contrast, by those whose eye of the intellect is concealed, what happens? It's concealed b'hasaga or b'mides. It's concealed whether in intellect or emotions or b'masa or in actions. So then what happens? Lo yuchal lirais orei Eloki, that unable to see the orei Eloki ela mitoch hasaga, but only through hasaga, only through the mides, or only through the actions. Okay, so you see the difference? There's one guy who senses and right away sees the essence. Okay, therefore, he doesn't need all the long explanations. It doesn't need all this processing. Okay, but those who do not have it on the surface level, okay, they need to dig it through the intellect, through the midas, through the actions. You see the difference? But the root of the matter is that the koach in every Jew, its source is in the highest supreme Chochmah of Atzilus. Because we say, because you are our Father, that has absolutely no enclothement, and this is called Sov Kalalmin. Okay, so, but everybody has the roots, 100% for all the Klal Yisrael. We are talking about already down below. Okay, when already the neshama goes into the body, there are still those who have this eye of the intellect open. And those who have the eye of the intellect open, they're able to perceive the essence of the matter. However, the revelation of this supernal Chochmah, okay, comes down, descends from the level to level, until it encloses into Malchus of Atzilus. The way it's Malchus of Atzilus encloses itself in Bria, in the Kodesh HaKadoshim, which corresponds to Shehu Inyan the Chabad. Okay, that this is the idea of Chochmah, Bina, Das of Bria. Right? This is explained in Etz Chaim. Okay, the gate 46. Okay, Ubechina zo is Nikra, Ein HaSechel. And this level is called the eye of the intellect. What is it? That this aspect is external aspect of the supernal Chochmah. Pneumias we all have. The external aspect not everybody has revealed. V'nikra nehi de Chochmah. And this is called the nehi of Chochmah. Amit Pasher says, betiferet, b'malchus da Atzilus. No, I'm sorry. Amit Pasher says, b'chochmah tata. Right? It comes down into the lower levels of Chochmah, which is the malchus of Atzilus. Shuhu inyan ayin do'ar. Okay? This is the idea of big ayin. Okay, when we say Shema, right? The ayin in Shema is big. Ayin b'rishima sheli the chodesh nas tafresh. Right? It says, look into the corresponds to the letter ayin of the word va'ad. ובחינה זו מתלבשת in the lower levels of Malchus, but בתחתיה, I guess, Nehi, right, of the Malchus, Shui Inyan Halev, that this is the idea of the heart. Be'efshar Shezeu Dalet, right, that we could say that this is the Dalet, the Va'ad. Okay, the Va'ad has a Dalet over here, right, the second part. Baruch Shem Kivod Malchus Elolam Voed. Right? Give Ayen Bazar Parsha Shlach, etc. And he sent us to Zar Parsha Shlach. Okay. Umitlabish beheichal Kodesh HaKadoshim kachabad. Right, and it becomes enclosed in the heichal of Kodesh HaKadoshim, this light of Chochmah Ila'ah. Right, shehu bechinas ragle hasvara. Yeah, just 1 second. Somebody is really trying to get 1 second. Okay, sorry about that. Okay. Umitlabesh beichal Kodesh HaKadoshim kachabad, shu b'chinas ragle hakise, right? And it becomes enclosed in the heichal of Kodesh HaKadoshim, which is kachabad, right? Which corresponds to the Chochmah, Bina, and Das that are in the legs of the throne. Okay? And we're talking about already to the lower world. והנה בחינה זויס heichal Kodesh HaKadoshim mitlabeshes b'chol oilam b'fnei atzma, and the same structure, the same expert of heichal Kodesh HaKadoshim, right? As explained in Tanya, that refers to Chochmah, Bina, and Das, right? It goes down. This whole process happens again in every single world. Okay, v'nikra heichal Kodesh HaKadoshim de Bria, and it's called the heichal of Kodesh HaKadoshim of Bria, and the Yitzira and Asiya. Okay, so why we need to know this? V'chein v'neshamis, and the same way is in the neshamis. So now we need to understand, what does this mean? A person has a shorish neshama. What does it mean? The roots of the neshama. Okay, sheshor ba'asiya. Okay. So a person's root is in asiya. Azai koach hariyah shalom lirois mi bara ele. So his power of perception is to see who created these, expressed in action. Malubash b'maseh. Okay. Now, Misha Shorsha b'Yitzira, those whose Shorosh of the Neshama of the Yitzira, Omi Bria, or in the world of Bria, Malubash koach shelo hispaalus b'asaga. The power, okay, is expressed in emotional intellect. Okay, those that are nasiya, they are more action-oriented people. And those that are expressed in hispaalus or hasaga is an indication that they are more, on the level of Yitzira or Bria. But what are you going to say about those neshamas that they are on the level of the heichel of Kodesh HaKadoshim itself, meaning in the world of Atzilus? Okay, v'nidgala b'guf, and it becomes revealed in the body, k'moshu, the way it is, b'li livush, without blivush of the biyah, without the clothement of the biyah. What are the clothement of the biyah? Very simple. Bria is intellect, Yetzira is emotions, Asiya is actions. Without that, okay? His mind's eye is going to be open. Okay, it's not enclosed in the mind. It doesn't have to go through an intellectual process to perceive it. Understand? It doesn't have to go through an emotional process to feel godliness. It doesn't have to work through a whole line of actions to refine so he can see it. Because each of those clothing, each of these garments, they have the hiding properties. Okay, but he doesn't have to go through this. Okay. Now he also says, and this is derech efshar, ve'im shegiti Hashem yichaper, right? And this is my understanding as a possibility. Okay, and if I have erred, may Hashem forgive. Right? This is Reb Hillel's sentence. He says that's what he understands. Okay, that why is it that somebody perceives right away techiv umiyad, okay, and he has no problem. He's the one who could explain it. He's the one who could feel it. He's the one who could act upon it. There's no concealment for him. Okay, and there are those who are like, no, they have to go through their own inner processing. Okay, and he continues, and it does not contradict what was stated above. Okay, Shamitpael. Yeah, just one second. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. Okay, and it does not contradict to what was stated above. Okay, שהמשפעל מעצם המכוון ששורשו מחוכמה והמשפעל בהסתר ששורשו מבינה, ובאמס יש בחינס בינה בבייס מדרגס, נימיס בינה השכל והחוכמה ila'ah. That's actually something very, very interesting what he's saying. And it does not contradict what was stated above, that one who is aroused by the essence has a root in chochmah, while one who is aroused by explanations has a root in bina. Okay, that doesn't mean that it's a contradiction. Why? For in truth, bina itself has two levels: the ina bina, okay, included within the higher chochmah. So what he's saying ultimately is that there are inclusions of midas, okay, there are inclusions of spheres, okay, and even within the bina, we see that the bina, it's not that it's just something separate from the chachma. That's how it appears on the outside, but on the inner, from the inner dimension, and we learned it at length in Shara Yichud class, right? That from the bina itself has two aspects. The inner pneumius bina and chitzonius bina. So now from the chitzonius bina, you're right. That's what goes on. But from the inner aspect of bina, no. Inner aspect of bina is included in Chochmah. Okay. And through this, therefore it says haben b'chochmah. What do you mean haben b'chochmah? It's understand with Chochmah. Right? Meaning there's a bina of the Chochmah. Okay, v'chitzonius bina. This is v'chitzonius bina shenyimshach ba, that is being transmitted or draw down in it, but b'chinas ha'chochmah behelam, in the aspect of chochmah in the concealment. V'al zeh amar v'chakem b'bina. And through this it says that this is the chochmah of the bina. Okay, so meaning there is already in this intertwinement of chochmah and bina. They're not two separate entities. And we actually find that the inner aspect of bina is called chochmah. Whoa. Okay, and if so, in the world of bria, which is generally is a bina, bichlal. Okay, right? In the aspect of kodesh hakadoshim that's in the world of bria right now, right? Because we are still trying to understand this whole enclosement part. So he's mamash breaking it down for us. Okay, v'klal bebechinas atzilus, and in general, in the aspect of atzilus, shenikra b'shem chochmah bichlal, that is called in the aspect of chochmah bichlal, b'hu pnimius olam debria, and we are actually talking about the pnimius olam abria. It's fascinating to see that happening over and over again. That this understanding of the spheres, understanding of the it's phenomenal. Because on the external level, you see there's a chochmah in the world of Atzilus, and then you see there's a bria in the world of Bina. Okay. Now we went through this whole long explanations that how the Bina is a clothing and etc. etc. But now he's saying, you know what? But pnimius, that all the worlds are united. But pnimius, it's one essence. Okay. So on the external level, yeah, people could be like this or like that, right? Well, where is your shortage of the neshama? But then, at the same time, on the inner aspect, there is no shortage of the neshama. There's only one shortage of the neshama, which is the essence of the neshama. Okay? The Eina Bichlal, and what's the story? That even in the world of Bria, the world of Bria, if it's the pnimius, if it's the Bina in the pnimius, it's already Chochmah. Mashenke. Sharei Chalot Shem B'Bchinas Midas the Olam Abria. Right? Well, it's not like this. In the contrast, the other chambers, which correspond to the attributes of the world of Bria. Shehu B'Bchinas Chitzonius Bina, right? That this is the aspect of the external part of Bina. Okay, Sheze Einai, okay, B'Chlal HaKisei, and they're not part of the throne itself. Okay, Rak Shidargin, Lekursia, right? That they are only the 6 levels that lead to the throne, like 6 steps in a way. Right? So because these are the 6 midas, they're the ones that are, like 6 steps that leading to the throne. Okay, but the Bria, it's already part of the throne. Why Bria is part of the throne? Because Bria is Bina. Okay. Okay. The external part, it's not part of the throne. The pnimius Bina is part of the throne. Why? Because that's already a gateway to Chochmah. And through this it says, the Ima Ilah Mekanana B'Kursiya. Right? Regarding this, it says that the high Ima nests in the throne. Remember we discussed this? What do you mean nests in the throne? Because it shines from it to the 6th level mentioned above. Okay? Which is the world of Yitzir. However, the throne itself, and also the feet of the throne, this is the aspect of the Kodesh HaKadoshim which we discussed above. But right? they receive directly the illumination, right? Hahispaalus Chochmah Ila'ah of right? They receive directly from the Atzilus itself. Okay, as it's explained above. Okay, so over here, he is kind of discussing this dimension, of the inner, and then there's outer, right? And the pnimius bina being like this gateway, in a way, between the external consciousness and the internal consciousness of the worlds. Okay, so that's pretty much what it is. I know it's like a little bit like, oh my gosh, where is he going with it? But we know where he's going. He wants to explain us how come that nefesh Elokus, although it's being enclosed in the body, could still have a different experience. Okay, so he's going into this whole long explanation to show us how it is so. Okay, and B'ezrat Hashem will take it in, and we'll appreciate everything what he has to share. And if there are any questions, please, ask me. If not, we'll end for today. It's going to be a little shorter class. And Baruch Hashem, I'll send out the recording and the summaries. And this will be a stepping stone for us to understand what further reveal has to tell us. Yeah, if there's no questions, we'll move weiter. Okay, sei gesund, all the best. B'ezrat Hashem, we'll see you next week. Oh, next week probably we will not have a class because it's oh no, next week we will have class because Thursday is Erev Shavuos. So we'll have one more class before the Shavuos break. Okay, all the best. Much hatzlacha. And hopefully we will see each other next week. All the